again, YouTube, it's Leslie King here with Jazz the Sun Conure. He's just finishing his pellets here for the morning. And I got Miss Keats in her cage and Mr. Keats in his. So today I just came to talk about some 5 common mistakes made with your pet bird. I just kind of jotted down some things and then I'm just going to go off the top of my head. And I'm not a vet and I'm not somebody that you should take my words for in concrete. You know, like, this is just things that I've went through. I do watch other people on YouTube like Bird Tricks. Shout out to Jamie, Lover, and a couple of others too. But these people take the time to give you this information because they care about birds. And same with me. I care about birds and I want this information to get out there and maybe help a bird owner realize something that maybe they didn't think about before, because a lot of things I didn't think about before. So number 1 is training isn't only good for having a trick bird. Training is really a good relationship, like a start of a good relationship for you and your bird. I mean, me and Jazz did a whole 360. Here, bud. Before I could, like, you know, really get him to listen to me, step up on command, and, you know, actually have discipline for him, you know? And that's when the training comes into play. When your bird flies to something that you don't want him at, maybe, like Jazz always has a thing with getting and jumping on top of doors, and he likes to chew on the trim. That's his favorite thing. So that was like the number 1 thing that I was like, nope, can't have that, because I live in a mobile home and like all of the, like, the walls are literally like paper thin. He could chew them up in no instance. And he has. Like, I will show you guys. Here, come on, Jazz. I'll show you. And I have towels up here to kind of block Mr. Keats, because Mr. Keats free flies in here a lot. As you can see, I have this all eaten up. I got a towel up there to block, and then you can see where this towel I pulled down for you guys to kind of see where they have chewed up the wall. And this is when I used to just let Jazz be free in his room. He wasn't ever locked up in his cage. This is before I had Miss Keats, and it was just him and Mr. Keats. And the bird room was his cage. But I quickly found out, don't let your bird just have free to his room, because as you can see, he thinks it's okay. Come on, bud. Come on. I got your pellets down here. Come on. See, and he still likes being up there. That's his favorite thing. Come on. Come on. Step up. Alright, so he won't step up for me. So what I'll have to do, oats are his favorite. That's what I used to train him with. So we'll see if we can get him down. Okay, bud. Can you step up for an Odie? He comes right down for an Odie. He's silly. Usually he only goes up there when he wants me to come and get him. Like, he knows I'm going to come and get him as fast as possible. So he's just jumping up there because he knows I'm going to interact with him, because that's what birds want. Now, here's number 2. Not realizing they don't like that new friend that you got them. You know, that's something that I quickly found out, that you can't just go and buy your bird a friend because you think he's lonely or whatever you think, and be like, oh, yep, they're gonna work out just fine. Because let me tell you, not always. A lot of times, they can't stand each other, or that other bird is trying to kill your bird, or your bird is going to kill that bird. You're just putting 2 birds in harm. I cannot have Miss Keats out like I can freely have Mr. Keats out, because Jazz wants to kill her. So I can't, you know, and that was something that I knew I had to go through, but I have Mr. Keats here to kind of help with that, because he's a parakeet like Miss Keats, and I was always just hoping that Jazz would accept her. But like the mistakes I'm talking about, it just does not happen like that. So please, people, make sure that before you go and get your bird a friend, that your bird accepts that bird and actually wants to spend time with that bird. And I'll be honest, I think all birds should have their own individual cages. Mr. Keats has his own cage, but he chooses to stay with Jazz and his. And Jazz lets him, Jazz wants him in there, so I just kind of let it be. But he has his own cage. And because I think all birds should have their own spaces, just like us humans want our own spaces. I mean, they're the same. They're just like us, if you really think about it. If you look at it in that sense, you'll be better off, really, honestly. Next, babying your bird and not letting them face their fears. So, Jazz, big baby. Big baby. So I had to get him used to a lot of things, desensitize him. Here, bud. Here's a pellet. He's trying to get my hoodie right now. He's been a terror with that, tearing it up. So I just like anything that scares him, anything that freaks him out, that I know that isn't going to hurt him, he shouldn't be scared of. I just work through it with him. Just maybe showing him, hey, look, I can touch this thing and it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't scare me. As soon as he sees me do something, he's usually like, oh, well, if mom's doing it, then it should be fine. And he'll go up and he'll do whatever or mess with anything or whatever. To give you an example, he was terrified of the broom. And like nobody ever scared him with the broom. He's never had any broom problem. You know, he just didn't like the broom. So what I did is I started having him on my shoulder when I would sweep the kitchen. And I would go and sweep. He likes being on me when I do my chores. So then he started, once he realized, oh, look, she just uses this to sweep. You know, he was fine with it. He's like cool with it. He'll jump over on me when I have it in my hand. He won't give me that sun conure alarm or freak out. He's cool with it. So that was something that I had to work with him. You'll be better off if you work through these things with your birds and don't let it build up, because it'll only get worse. Jazz doesn't like feet. Most birds have a problem with feet. He attacks my boyfriend's feet. Every now and then he'll try to attack mine. So what I did to get him away from attacking and like just realizing, hey, it's just our feet. Like, you got feet and you don't have to bite them or attack them. I just like, anytime we would be laying out on the couch with our feet up, I would put him like close to our feet, like on my leg, lay him on my leg or something close to our feet. As soon as he would go at it, I'd be like, bud, And every time I say, he'll just stop, stare at me. And then as soon as I realize he's not going to do it, I'll say, good boy. And I'll give him a treat. And then once he like realize, oh, if I don't attack her feet, I get a treat. That's what it took. You literally can get these birds to do anything with treats. Like, it could be, make sure it's their favorite. Like, he'll do anything for an oatie. Loves oats. He'll do anything for millet. Loves spray millet, like most birds. Use that to your advantage. You need to get them off that door like I did. Use that treat. That's what it's there for. It's your best friend. So, fourth, let's see. Too much freedom. Too much freedom. I had a problem with this one in the beginning when I first got birds. I thought he was stuck. He's not stuck. So I didn't realize like I know the cage. It's a bad thing. Birds shouldn't be kept in their cages all day long. That's not what I'm saying. But that cage should be used. It should be a sanctuary, a lovely place for your bird to go to be comfortable, to have things that it likes to play with, to go to bed. You know, this cage isn't a bad thing. And I make that with Jazz. You know, I'm like, hey, this isn't a bad thing. I'll chill with him while he's in his room, while he's locked up in his cage, and he'll play with his toys and stuff. He didn't do that at first because, like I said, he never was locked up in his cage. He was just free roam all the time. So when birds are free roam, they literally think everything is theirs. So they'll chew on everything. And I have carpet also that's chewed up from him. So I learned, use that cage. Use the cage as what it's intended to. And because your bird, once he gets bored outside, out in his free time, and he gets bored, he's going to find something to get into. Some type of mischief. Doesn't matter. And maybe you have a baby bird who doesn't do any of that yet. But wait until they turn to adults. It will happen. But I just think that too much freedom gives your bird the idea that he calls the shots, that he is going to be the one to make the decisions of what he's doing. And you can't let that. You can't allow that, because your bird will run over you, because birds are about themselves. As lovely as they are about themselves. It's just instinct. They're not selfish creatures, because they're creatures who mate for life and actually take care of the babies, male and female. So they're not selfish creatures at all, but they are about themselves. They tend to do things that are going to benefit them. So you just have to make sure that when you're conducting things for your bird and with your bird, that you're making it to where it seems like he's the one in the spotlight. He's the one calling the shots, but really it's you. And you can do that with training. I learned that from bird tricks for sure. Like, training goes a long way, and then the cage kind of goes in with that, you know, because like I said, too much freedom equals craziness. If what I do for the first 4 hours of the day, because I wake my birds up at 7 a.m. and 7 to 11, they're out free. Like, you know, we'll do a number of things. Bathing, you know, eating, training, all kinds of things in those first 4 hours. And then from 11 to 1 p.m., I put them up in their cages and I give them veggies. They do better when I put them in their cage to eat veggies than out and about, because they kind of get like distracted. They'll get distracted and start doing other stuff and not eating their veggies like I want them to. So from that 11 to 1 p.m., put them in their cage, and that works well. And they eat their veggies. Here, dude. But next thing I've got is food 24/7. I made this mistake, like I said in my other video. I thought that because their metabolisms were so fast that birds needed to have food 24/7. I'm excluding parakeets in this conversation only because parakeets are so small, and if you're not weighing your bird every day and you don't know what he eats, it's not safe to take your bird's food away and try to do all of that in one day, whatever. You gotta weigh your bird out. With Mr. Keats and Miss Keats, I just give them, like in the morning, I'll make sure that their bowls are to a 4 grams of seed. That's just for the AM. And they don't eat all of that I usually feed them anywhere from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. in that area for breakfast. They usually don't eat all that 4 grams in that time. They will, because you know how parakeets are. They'll go and they'll eat a little, do whatever, come back, eat a little. You know, that's what they do. So it's easy for me to manage that. I don't think a bird should have a full bowl of seed, freaking 20 grams in there, or something crazy for a little parakeet. You know, first of all, they're types of birds, you gotta blow those casings off for them to keep eating, because, you know, they're smart, but they can't blow their own seed casings off, and they don't realize that there's seed in there still underneath all that casing. So that's why I try to get types of bowls that is easy for me to just blow off the seed. Okay. Here, dude. Here. He's like, keep feeding me my pellets, woman. So, I guess this is why Bird Tricks makes notes, because you get sidetracked, especially when you have birds on you. And as you can see, I'm not a professional YouTuber whatsoever. Yeah, you're mad. You're mad because the attention isn't on Beaky Boy. His attention isn't on Beaky Boy. He's angry. He's yelling about it. Are you thirsty? Since he is a Velcro bird, he literally yells at me about things. Like, he's telling me stuff. Like, we've came to this conclusion that he'll scream at me to tell me things. I've tried to get him to change it and like do the peeky, and he'll do it sometimes, but most of the time he's yelling at me. But he's a sun conure. He's the loudest sun conure, loudest bird, man. So loud. But he's cool. He's cool. I deal with it. I love him. Sometimes it annoys me, but most of the time I'm like, oh, listen to that beautiful baby sing. Okay, so back to what I was saying, the 24/7 food. With sun conures, for sure, he should not have food 24/7. Just, he shouldn't. In the wild, they literally have to go and forage and find food, you know, and they eat real quick to make sure predators aren't going to come after them. They eat real fast and they'll go somewhere to, you know, their crop's full, so they're going to go somewhere and let that digest and relax. So, you know, a bird with food to himself 24/7 and stays in a cage and doesn't get the exercise or flying 8 miles a day like these birds do in the wild, then you're going to have some problems, health problems. And fatty liver disease is the number one. Here. But regardless, you want to make sure that your bird is eating enough. So that's a hard thing to do. The best thing to do, weigh your bird every day, weigh the food that they're eating. And that's what I started doing. Is, you know, I put a certain amount in the bowl, you know, enough that to where I knew he's going to be able to eat his amount in that. So maybe 10 grams. I'll put 10 grams in there, weigh it after his first session of eating, see how much he ate there. And that's what, you know, what I explained in another video of how I got them to portion. Well, Jazz. And that really, really, really helped me be able to break in the training. Like I said before, he was too full all the time, and I could not get him to do anything. I mean, he just wouldn't do nothing. I mean, he's a sweet baby on his own, but the training really, 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 really helped our relationship. Like, he knows now that I'm not going to just force him to step up, you know? No, we'll sit there for 10 minutes. You're going to step up on your own. I'm not going to force you. That's another mistake I should have wrote on here. Forcing your bird to step up. Don't do that. Because they don't like that. And most of the time, they step up just because they know you're going to force them to step up. You don't want that. You want your bird to come to you on his own. So, I literally, and it took a lot of time, because hey, don't go over there flying to her cage. That's not your cage. I'm still having a problem with him staying off Miss Keats' cage. Get over here, dude. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Eat your pellet. No, you done got my arm good, dude. He bit me hard today, guys, because of this phone. Like, he's still not used to the phone. I will show you if I can. I mean, you can see the bump, like the mark that he left. Some kind of your bites don't feel good at all. I'm just like, dude, come on. But getting sidetracked again. I'm definitely writing notes down on the next video. I mean, I couldn't sit here and watch a person talk randomly for 20 minutes. I promise these videos will get better. Ain't that right? They'll get better. Yeah. But yeah, guys, that's some of the 5 common mistakes. And, you know, honestly, mistakes are there to be made so you can learn from them and you'll get better. I've had Jazz now for 4 years. Come on, bud. Why? Why are you so mad? Alright, guys. I'm out of here. Until next time. Peace out.